Alrighty, hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we got a rec review at around 1000 elo, which is amazing for those of you guys looking to get better. Those are the guys that are new players looking to improve at some 1v1 Arabia. It's another one of my Patreon members, and it's the first rec I've reviewed from him, so I'm interested to see what he's got going on and what we can do to improve. He told me that this is more of like a late game fail. Okay, he got a Mongol late imp fail, and that's what he titled the rec. So I'm excited to see what's happening, especially for those that are struggling with the late game. But we're gonna have to keep an eye on that early game, keep this guy honest a little bit at the same time, because early game is really important. Remember, every single game has a dark age, not every single game has a post imp, and already a huge mistake here. So I know you have trouble with multitasking, and if you're a new player, this is definitely the case, but you want to make sure you're keeping that TC running. So as you're sending to go to the boar, you know that you're going to have all of your focus on this elephant lure. So before that, your vill actually goes out, drop some food and spam vills at your town center so that your town center is not idle for the entire boar lure, which is what's going to happen. Look at this. So you lost basically 24 seconds of idle time, which is exactly one villager. All right. Good lure though. Respect on that lure. Respect on that lure. Good stuff. I like to see it. Scouting as well. Solid stuff with the Mongols. And now you're running into a situation where you don't know what to do with the scouts. You actually have to go back here and then scout around. So you stay on that black stuff. Scouting needs some work, but that's okay. That's like the least important thing to work on as a newer player. All right. Villagers coming out. Perfect. So it's looking decent so far. Can start walling down the bottom. Okay. Go for that second elephant, maybe. Good. Not bad, not bad. You have the rough idea of what you want to be doing. 2 on wood, which is solid. Following the builders, love to see it. This is one of the most gratifying things I can ever have as a content creator. People actually benefiting from the builders and putting out and trying to follow them and hopefully getting better with them. It's really awesome. As a person who aspires to be a teacher, this is kind of like a dream come true, being able to teach Age of Empires. It's better than teaching any subject in school, I can tell you that much. Alright, same thing. Gotta get your vills. Continue making vills. But again, the reason you're not doing that is because you're luring a deer. So before you start, like again, same concept. Before you start luring the deer, drop off food and spam vills. Don't just make 1 or 2 spam vills. Unless we're trying to click up. What? Oh, that was all idle time. No. A minute 21 idle time. Your opponent has a minute 26, but he's Chinese. It's a bit more understandable. That's a lot of idle time, my brother. We gotta work on that. We gotta work on that. You're down, just to give you some perspective, that's 3 villagers. And I know it's a little harsh to hear, but I'm putting emphasis on it because it's a big, big deal. We gotta cut this out of your game as soon as possible. Help you improve, get out of that idle TC in Dark Age vibe. Got a ton of videos on Dark Age. Definitely want to watch how I do it and try to copy as much as you can. Use these principles before you do any action like luring deer. Just spam vills. Make like 5 vills. You're going to want them anyway. So at the same time, you could have been at 20 pop. Just to give you some perspective. And 3 vills, they gather about... each vill about 20 res a minute, right? So it's like you're losing 60 res a minute. Every minute for the rest of your life. That makes it sound so bad, but yeah. That's basically how it works. Yeah, you're down 60 res per minute for the rest of your life, and there's nothing you can do about it now. It's too late. Have a great rest of your day. I feel like the mood just feels completely ruined after a stat like that comes out. But anyway, it's not the end of the world. We can always see bounce back. Second lumber camp coming. Blocked by the house, which is not amazing. Okay. I mean, it happens. No big deal. Probably on this side would have been better. I'll get that blocked. Looking like we're going to go for a scout rush, but a little late. Dark Age has to be practiced, all right? Oh, you skip loom. That's my boy. I respect that. That's some good stuff. Skipping loom is good. Reading out with the Mongols, going to scout our opponent is solid. Yeah, Dark Age should be a little bit better. Cut the idle TC time. Barracks should be already up when you hit Feudal Age, so you can prepare that stable with a couple vills. So just work on that. You can practice with AI or just practice it in ranked games. Again, if you need any reference to see how I do it and try to copy it, trying to get some inspiration there. Alright, we also need a house here as we are housed, but we're making on the bottom, which is a very chill. And we're scouting what our opponent's doing, so this is all good. This is all solid. Again, the base idea, you have it down pretty well, which I do respect. Now you're walling with 2 vills. Beautiful. This is something I teach as well. One vill on this right side, one vill on the left side. Right after the stable, that is the perfect way to wall. And you're also defending them. So this is a very solid opening from your end. And you're going to put yourself in a really good position to be fully walled in a few minutes with scouts. So now it's all about farming very fast. So these guys should not be on the strategy. You need to be making farms. You want to convert that wood into food. I always mention this for beginner players. Pay attention. The goal of Feudal Age is to get the castle as fast as possible. And the way to do that, you need 800 food, alright? The way to do that is to get the farms down quick so you get that 800 food as fast as possible. That 200 gold, that's easy work. We do that at the end. But the 800 food, that's a lot of food. Good pressure with the scouts. Box formation, lovely stuff. I don't even know how you know about box formation. Let's go. Sick. Usually people are sleeping on box formation. Opponent's going for a market. And again, this is one thing that I really want to point out. There's a clear difference from the people that watch the videos and who, you know, make use of the guides out there, be it on Patreon or YouTube or even on Twitch, just watching me play, from other people. This guy here, with all due respect, is clearly doing something, you know, random. It's just a random fast castle with a market and a few spears. And this is not a structured way to play. And you're going to gain advantage consistently against people like this. And again, it's not like he's playing in an incorrect way. It's just he's playing in a suboptimal way that is not consistent. And honestly, it's not as fun because you're in the driver's seat. You got the scouts. You're moving around. It's more fun this way, at least in my opinion. I know fun is subjective and all that, but I feel like this gives you a little bit more agency, a little bit more control of the game. And these are the exact players that we got to beat out. This is how we climb until we find players that are playing exactly you know, how you should be, and then it can get really interesting, learning how to micro, learning how to, you know, sneak attack, out strategize, mind game, all the good stuff. Good waiting though with the scouts. This is fantastic. Finding some value. Great reaction from your opponent as well. Really good pick. Really good pick. Another, yeah, your scout control is incredibly solid. And if you run away now, you're an absolute savage. Respect. Well, any of the YouTube comments, put some respect on this guy's name. Zizigi. Remember the name. This guy's gonna go places. You know who else needs to go places? These 6 fills. I've been having my eyes on them for the past 2 minutes. They've just been idle. 6 villagers. Aha. I made a video about this morning. Going for another fight, eh? Going for another fight. This is the guy that's permanently in detention in high school. Fight after fight after fight. He never learns his lesson. He always wants to fight. Listen, fighting is great. Okay, I say this to all the high school students. No, I'm kidding. Fighting is solid. With the scouts, you want to find damage. But in between, as you ran from here, all the way around to here, 30 seconds passed. You have to run the scouts back here, look away, fix your economy, make the farms, make more scouts, whatever you want to do. Wall up your base, get the gold, whatever you have to do. And then 20 seconds later, when your scouts have traveled here, you send them in to look for more damage. Right now, you're constantly looking for fights. At home, it's not looking good. This is how our opponent can survive even after we kill vill after vill. This is how the game can stay even, because our economy back home is actually suffering just as much as our opponent. Okay. So you're looking for that villager. We actually lose a couple scouts, and at home it's still a disaster. Oh, yeah, this is a perfect. I'm so happy you sent me this wreck. This is horrendous. Horrendous! This should never happen again. Alright, to anyone watching. You want to look back. If there's no damage, you just run away and look back at your economy. No problem. We got the faster units. There's no reason to ever lose your army like this. It's impossible. 2 range sneaky CA switch. Okay, I like that. Solid walling up here onto gold. And again, your economy management is actually quite impressive. It's just that we're basically like 6 vills idle for too long and 4-minute idle TC. We're just behind. You're down like 10 vills and your opponent didn't attack you once. Yeah, not to depress you or anything, but we should be up to Castle Age. We should be in Castle Age with 3 TC at minute 20 with Mongols, considering the amount of scouts you made. So we're basically like 4 minutes behind in our gameplay at the moment. All due to us. To be honest, I'm subtracting myself from the equation. It's all because of you. It's your fault. I'm just watching here. I'm coaching. 4 minutes behind. It's all your fault. Yeah, you deal with that. You're going to have that on your conscience. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Your opponent is now 3TC booming, and all the damage we get, you actually played amazing. You killed 3 vills with your scouts. All damage we get is basically all for nothing. Because our opponent is now 3TC boom, whereas we should also have been 3TC, or we should have had some CA already on the map. So by being delayed, we're actually giving our opponent a chance to get back in the game, despite us having a quote-unquote a better early game, better feudal age. Our opponent's now actually ahead. To be honest, you're losing quite hard at the moment. Because of the situation. But obviously at lower levels anything is possible. I'm going to go for the Cavalry Archer switch. Probably want to get Bodkin Arrow as soon as possible, and Husbandry. I like the CA switch as Mongols think it's solid. Now your opponent's at 15 vills. It's pretty brutal. Bodkin Arrow is coming in. Husbandry should be coming in. We got Bloodlines already, which is good. Good CA transition. I like that. And now you just want to go for your 2TC boom. Now we have the Monastery from your opponents. Actually, I'm very impressed by your opponents. Like 3TC boom, it's quite solid. It looks pretty too. He's like, he laid out his base nicely. I respect that. All right, 2TC. Probably can go for the third now, unless you want to go siege forward. Oh, respect. Siege forward. Spicy. I don't mind that. It's a good way to take advantage of the fact that you have Cavalry Archers on the field. So it's actually a pretty good decision. And then meanwhile, you're making use of the 2TCs back home, so your economy's not falling behind. Again, impressive eco management. Honestly, you're spending your resources very effectively. And this is the interesting part. I just want to talk about this for a second. This is the interesting part when it comes to like players in this game. This 1000 ELO player does things so much better compared to another 1000 ELO player, but also does things so much worse compared to other 1000 ELO players. Every 1000 ELO player has things to do well and has things to do, you know, wrong or need to improve, and it's always different. It's so funny. The more coaching I do, the more I realize that people excel at different things, and they also need to improve on different things. And it's crazy just how different people can approach the game. It's amazing. So what you're struggling with is just idle TC and your early game, your Dark Age, Feudal Age, and your idle vills and whatnot. But your economy balance and your military and your fighting is actually quite solid. All right, going for mining camp on stone, probably unnecessary. Usually you just want to use this vill and make houses or send it back. Mining camp on stone is not the craziest mistake, but it's just not really that efficient. But who cares? It's not the end of the world. Mangonel's coming out now. Could probably consider the third TC at home as well, relatively soon. And then with the CA, nothing. Honestly, it's good. Seeing a Mangonels, it's good. Just pressure a bit more though. Like I would like to see you getting a little deeper in here, sniping a vill in these farms and stuff. With the CA, because like my biggest fear here is that he's just booming, and he's stockpiling more res than us. He's got like 3k more res collected, and it's kind of like going unchecked in a lot of ways. Like the siege push is good, but it is slow. Yeah, so the CA should be dipping and diving. Run in, snipe a vill, snipe a vill, snipe a vill, run back. That kind of thing. Because now your opponent's getting a lot of time on how to prepare. He's going to go for scorpions. He's going to go for knights. Oof, that's a good combination. Scorpion knights, especially with ballistics. Super solid. Nice, 30C out here. Fantastic. And now, funnily enough, you're doing a better job keeping your TCs running now than you did in the early game. So you definitely got to practice that early game. Let's see. You did tell me this is a late imp fail, so let's see what happens. So far, I wouldn't even say you're winning, but I guess you get a lead if you think you failed in the late game. I don't know. Let's take a look. Opponent comes out. Ooh, good play from the opponent, to be honest. Lost a couple Mangonels for free there. Scorpions on the field. That's kind of scary. Going for a ram now. I think we kind of lost track of what we want to do here. Let's start kiting. Oh, this is so scary. Oh my god. Does our opponent have ballistics? This is so scary. You have to run away. Yeah, this push is dead. We can just run away here. So now in response to the scorpions, you're going to start massing step lances, which is correct. Opponent's up to imp with a lot more resources. Again, all of this is just because he got his boom earlier. But our push is still solid. Our military is still solid. We have ballistics now as well. Yeah, good kiting. You're fighting well. You're fighting well. Probably a bit too much there. Yeah, probably have to just pull back after the knights went down. Now we get Thumbring, but we lost all our CAs, so we got to build those guys back up. We gotta spend the wood now. We got too much wood. Whenever you have 1,000 of a resource, you have to spend that as fast as possible. I always make sure to mention that. Nice, getting some farms down. Only 15 farmers though. Gotta watch out for that. Imperial Age is in. Handcart coming in. A lot of attacks for your opponents. We're still not up to Imp. We got a lot of res. Okay, I think you're getting overwhelmed now. So your mid game is your strongest points. Early game needs work. Late Imp needs work. That's true. The way we want to spend this res is you want to add production buildings. So look how illogical this is. You had 2 production buildings. You had that like 15 minutes ago, right? Since then, you've basically doubled your bill count, okay? And you have 3 TCs, but you're still on the 2 ranges. See how illogical that is? If you double your bill count, shouldn't that mean you also double your production at the bare minimum? Obviously. So 2 ranges should turn into 4 ranges minimum. And that will help you get more CA on the field and kind of spend your resources like you should be. And this is a concept I really need you guys to start understanding as well. As fast as possible. Like the faster you understand this, the better time you'll have playing the game. Because then you have more army in the field, which means more fun and means more opportunity to practice playing with army. Notice how I almost never coach like army and fights. Usually it's like only high level stuff that I want to coach how to take fights. But at lower levels, I just want to teach you guys how to get the army out. So that you guys can have fun playing with the army and then get better at your own pace over time. That's how I learned. I went all in every game, spam army, and then just get better at micro. Nice, now you're adding in production buildings, that's good. Spend that wood, 10 of those off wood, mill farms, extra TC. Fast forward here as they're stalling out, trying to get to Imperial Age. And again, the mistake your opponent's doing is giving you so much time, by the way. I would be absolutely yelling at this guy. 5,000 res. He should not give you a second to breathe here. You should be dead, buried, and he also sent out flyers for your funeral. That's what you should do to you right now. And instead, you're just allowed to get back in the game. It's so funny. That's what floating res does, guys. Mangonels coming out. Not sure why you want those, actually. You go for an attack. Camel and CA. Problem is, I just fear. Oh, your opponent should get the ballistics on those guys. We're gonna dive in. I don't know if I like that play. Yeah, it feels like a bit of a waste of units. Thing is, there's not really much you could do, but like the way you want to play now is just try to get the imp as fast as possible. I don't think you actively attacking a guy who's in imp is the way to go. So we're very far behind. The best thing we can do is try to stall to imp. Wasting that army, I don't think you got enough value, so I think I would say it's a waste. That sets us behind quite a bit. Nice, that's good. Adding some stables in, very good. Expanding is also solid now, getting onto the extra golds and stones. Opponent tried to go for forward castle. He now has so much res. Oh my god, that's so funny. He has so much res. We have like no chance to win this game. He's got so much more res than us. Unless we get to 200 pop ASAP. He doesn't know how to break this though. That's good. CA. I wish your opponent would get ballistics on the scorpions. He probably doesn't know that they changed that, to be fair. Nice. Sara is out. And I like this. You're actually spending your res. This is amazing because this shows he's got so much more res than you. But because you have the same population, it actually feels like it's an even game. That is amazing. Oh, it's so even. You're killing your own units to say it like, look at me. I can give you even a chance and kill my own units. Not again, though. Come on. That's just BM at that point. Good repair from your opponent on that treb. Yeah, you're doing a good job spending the res, though. I can tell you're at least aware of that, which is good. Sometimes you're a bit slow at it, but overall you're aware of what you have to do, which is solid. Heavy C Hussar. Composition is perfect as well. Yeah, we're just behind a lot from the castle age. I think you're dead here. I would be so shocked if you're able to recover even a little bit after this, because you lost your castle and Yeah, you basically lost all your production. Do you just fast forward? Or are you just toast? Well, no way red gives you time. No way he gives you time. He doesn't like to push. He just has to go forward castle here. He's taking his time. He is chilling. Red's got no rush. He's even picking up the relics. Got one. I'm gonna fast forward because I really just don't think there's anything much to learn from this game anymore. Like you told me it was a late imp fail, but all I saw was late imp just doesn't matter. You're down like 10k res. You give me this position and maybe I don't win it. Yeah, I don't think the late imp actually matters here. Let's see if it gets close again. I'll start like reviewing it a bit more. But honestly, like, I mean, you're doing a good job getting your pop up. Hold on. You're at 150 pop. You're starting to rate him. That's really good. And again, the fact that you're even in this game is crazy to me. He should be absolutely rolling you at the moment. It is tough. It is tough. What you should do is, though, make sure your army's fully upgraded. Brace your chemistry. All that's super important. Nice. Getting in. Yeah, you know what to do. You're actually playing really well. If you work on that early game, you're going to climb quite fast. How funny is it that you give me a wreck saying you think you failed at late imp? And late imp has nothing to do with the wreck. Unless you're red all this time and that red loses the game, like you throw the game. That would be so funny. What a plot twist. But I'm fairly certain this guy's blue. We are wreck reviewing blue. Wreck neutralizes that castle. Look at his res. You have like a very similar res collected. He's just stockpiling everything. He's got ballistics now. He has so much res. Yo, maybe I should start doing that. You just start stockpiling res. You just one shot, like, delete all your bills and go 200 pop camo or so. 20 trebs, 200 pop camo. And just steamroll your opponent. You're doing a good job raiding. That's the thing. It's like you're not even playing bad. It's just that it's such an uphill battle that it feels weird to criticize what you're doing. Nice, a good treb snipe there. I like how you're spending your res. It's actually quite solid. And again, you have very similar pops. You actually have more pop than him at the moment. Your raids have been doing wonders. But it probably just doesn't matter. Okay, so if I can give you some advice on late game, because I don't want you to send in a rec about late game and not get any advice. My advice is that you want to get to a situation where you have 200 pop. And if you're not there yet, continue making vills until you're there. The reason why this is so important is because you don't want to be in a position where you're just playing with less. Where you're just playing with less than what you can have. And if you can just get your vill count up, that's going to get you more res in the bank, which then translates into more military. So if you're playing this hyper raiding style, where you're trading in your army for his vills and you're keeping him far behind, you want to make sure that you have the most amount of villagers possible at home, so you're able to sustain those raids and always stay at 200 pop. Because right now you're staying at always 130 to 150 pop. If you just added 30 extra vills, that would give you an extra 20 army. So that would bump your whole operation by 50 pop. And then you'd be playing from 180 pop to 200 pop. That's basically how you want to play it. Your composition is perfect. You're raiding quite effectively. It's just all about getting yourself to 200 pop. And that's the only advice I can give to you in late game. Otherwise, you just have to start like you playing more and practicing more, learning some of the tips. I also have a few I have a few videos like top 5 tips for late game that you can check out as well. But in this situation, this game had literally nothing to do with Imperial Age because your opponent just has such a monumental lead going into Imp that saying that you failed in late game is not correct. And this is actually really fun because this brings me to a very interesting point, which is if you don't get coaching, a lot of times you could get hard stuck because you don't know why you lose. And this is a very good example of you not knowing why you lost. So you're actually spam rating him here and you think that you have a chance to win. And then you watch the rec and your opponent just has 45,000 resources or 40,000 resources. And all your rating just doesn't matter because he's so far ahead in general. And he's taking more efficient trades as well. So again, the only way that this rating style can work is if you're at 200 pop. Otherwise, your opponent would just get better, like more efficient trades, and then he would just, you know, be able to kill you, finish you off one shot. And I'm sure what's gonna happen is he's gonna surprise you with like a bunch of siege ram, and you just You're gonna not know where it came from, but now you know. Now you know. He's got Chukunu. He's a full gold comp. Oh, GG, well played. Respect on dropping that well played though. It's like, and yeah, this rec had nothing to do with Imperial Age, which is absolutely hilarious. And yeah, this really just cements the idea that if you don't watch your own rec, or you get someone else to watch your rec for you, sometimes you just don't know why you lose. And the people get heart stuck for two reasons. One, you lose a game and you don't ponder upon why you lost, or get someone to help you figure out why you lost. Therefore, you make the same mistake over and over and over again. Or second one is you play brainlessly and you tilt queue and you keep spamming games without thinking about anything. Okay, forget about thinking about why you lost. You just don't think about anything. Those are the two reasons mainly why people get heart stuck. Take it from me, I've been heart stuck. I'm heart stuck 2K9 player. I can't get 3K. I suck so bad. But yeah, those are the two reasons you get heart stuck. So I'm glad you sent this recon. Completely broke down, shattered that idea that you had a late game fail. Again, you just had no chance going into Imp. Take a look at that early game. Fix your Dark Age. Work on spending your resources in the mid game. And developing your economy a bit quicker means that you'll get faster timings and more military on the field before your opponent gets to this like giga strong 10k res in the bank setup in Imp, which is what you want to avoid. You want to be at a stronger position before he gets there. And if he gets there, just work on playing at higher pop in Imp, and that's the best advice I can give you. And aside from that, you just need more practice, but I think you can climb pretty fast because the way you play with army is actually quite solid. You waste a little bit too much, but other than that, I think it's a pretty solid use of army, and you're a very aggressive player. All right, that's going to do it for this rec review. Thank you so much for watching, everyone on YouTube. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And thank you, Zizigi, for sending in the rec. And I wish you the best on your climb and, your progress and your journey as a 1v1 player. Take care, guys. Peace.